This video is going to be a film study look at the incredible performance that Aidan Hutchinson put on in the Lions' 20-19 loss to the Cowboys in Week 17. 3 sacks, 4 tackles for loss, 5 quarterback hits. He had the forced fumble on Aidan, just nasty spin move against the right tackle for the Cowboys, and then he folded Dak Prescott up. Even if you didn't have those statistical designations, if you didn't know them, if you just watched the film and didn't even see the end of the plays, which we used to do sometimes as an exercise to evaluate kids while they were watching the film with us on how violent they were, the use of their hands. Aidan Hutchinson on Saturday would have been an A+. Shocking and shedding blockers, particularly tight ends. The timing of his moves, his movements with his hands, his spin move, particularly on the last sack that I'll show you, his timing was immaculate. And did anything change? I don't think so. I really don't. I mean, he's playing downhill. He's playing super aggressive, committed. I think the communication is also far better for this Detroit defense pre-snap, and I'll show you a couple of examples of that as we go through the video. Look, the Lions lost the game officially, 20-19. Nobody, least of all Dan Campbell in Detroit, is interested in moral victories. But there is a lot to be excited about, particularly how dominant Hutchinson was against multiple people on the outside. His best reps, if you ask me, was on the outside, not in stunts. I didn't see him drop into coverage at all. We did a film study video last week talking about how often he's dropping into coverage, how often he was used to mug tight ends. Thought he was freed up a little bit more on Saturday. I could be wrong there. Let's put it this way. When he got one-on-ones, he was victorious. He won them. He now has 9.5 sacks on the season, 3 forced fumbles, 2 fumbles recovered, 1 interception. He's got 9 quarterback hits in the last 2 games. Just dynamite performance, if you ask me. Let's get to some of the film. First possession, it's going to be a tackle for loss. On a coordinated stunt, it's bunch A for the Cowboys. So when I say coordinated stunt, up at the top of the screen, you've got the running back and the bunch to the same side. Cowboys are going to try to run the football into the boundary. I don't think Dak is reading this. If he is, he's either misreading it or he's super aware and he sees Brian Branch blitzing off the edge. But Hutchinson's going to step down and run with the running back, and then Branch is going to go, presumably, for quarterback. Additionally, on the downside of the screen, Pascal is going to stunt inside. Although I do suspect that this is a read by Pascal. I can't prove it. It looks like his first step is inside, so I'm wrong there. But what it does is it allows Anzalone to fold over the top, to be there in case the running back tries to bounce it. He's not able to bounce it because Hutchinson is closing down from the top side. You'll get the end zone angle of this one. Beautiful timing, if you ask me, on both sides there. End zone angle, you let me know if you think Dak is reading it. I mean, if he's reading Hutchinson, it should be a keep. But also, he could definitely see Brian Branch screaming off the edge and recognize, hey, even if I do keep this, Branch is going to be there in position to hit me. So perhaps he did read it. And nonetheless, tackle for loss for Hutchinson on the first possession. 5th possession now is late second quarter. Hutchinson is up at the top. I'm going to move away from Hutchinson just for a moment. It's 12 personnel. This is that unique look that the Lions are showing against 12 personnel now. I love it. I love this look. It was amazing against the run against the Vikings last week. Here you are, a play-action pass. Only 2 receivers out in the route. Looks like a tight end releasing late. And Hutchinson just beats Smith to the inside here. When you get the end zone angle, you'll see what I mean about the timing of his hand used to displace himself or free himself up from the left tackle. This front reminds me of stuff that the Steelers used to use often against 12 personnel. Kind of this heavy kicked over front where you have a 3 technique and then a 7 or inside shade at a tight end. Another player, in this case Jack Campbell, slightly inside shade of the second tight end. Our matchup that we're focusing on here is Hutchinson over here against the left tackle to the weak side. I want to do a video on this 12 personnel front, this look that they do. I've got it at least 6 or 8 times in the past couple of weeks. Notice Hutchinson's timing on Smith here. Not on this particular move, but right here as Smith gets his hand on his chest or maybe even underneath his chin to free himself up with the left arm. And you can see Hutchinson's face and face mask and helmet is lifted up, so maybe he made more contact with the chin and the chin strap than I thought, or the face mask than I thought. frees himself up quickly. We'll let you see it one more time through. I felt like his hand movements, maybe they were more decisive, I don't know, but they worked perfectly in terms of timing and reaction. What happened, and then let me do a secondary move off of that like you see on that sack there. Late second quarter, another sack. This one he's at D-tackle. It's another stunt, but a different version. Reeves, Maben, and Anzalone are on a blitz. Hutchinson crosses the face of the center, and he works his way into Dak Prescott's field of vision. I think the blitzes kind of push him in that direction. So the two blitzers, and I'll show you the end zone angle, are coming from Prescott's left-hand side. The defense is right, offense is left. And then Hutchinson is crossing the center's face. So when Prescott moves in that direction, he kind of walks himself right into Hutchinson's path. End zone angle, same play again. This is last 20, 25 seconds of the second quarter. His second sack already. I like that he's in a wide three and then stunting all the way across the center's face. Some people would say, this is a meaningless stat. It's the end of the half. You certainly don't want to see a 20 or 30-yard gain. I don't even know if the Cowboys had timeouts left. But anytime you're in a late second quarter situation, you don't want to give up points. Well, Aidan Hutchinson made sure they didn't. Third quarter now. He's up at the top side. He's in a stand-up position. When I did the film study video last week, I claimed that I thought he plays better in a three-point stance, But the shock and shed nature. Look, Cam Sutton gets credit for the tackle, number one. Number two, I think you got a great job by Anzalone and Campbell of basically fast flowing this. And you'll just get a better view of that from the end zone angle. But Anzalone is to the front side. He's going to go downhill, and then that allows Campbell to fold over the top and fast flow. Hutchinson is just winning every engagement in this video. He's got the tight end on the inside. He's just going to shed him. And when he sheds people, he's just throwing them away from him. Again, I don't think he gets statistical credit for this tackle. I think it's Cam Sutton on the outside. Power basically runs into his path. He runs into Sutton on his path, trying to pin Hutchinson down. Here's the open gap that Anzalone is going to go through, and then Campbell folds over the top. Why does that matter? Well, if you did it the other way, and this guy tries to go to the outside, Campbell tries to go downhill, this guy's got the angle on. This offensive lineman has an angle on Campbell. If you do fast flow, not in every situation, but this particular one, it allows Campbell to run away from that offensive lineman, basically defeating the blocking scheme in a different manner. Hutchinson has a hold of the tight end here, and when he's shedding people on Saturday, just making them disappear. I don't think he gets credit for the tackle, but definitely involved in the play. Third down, same possession. Him and Irvin are going to stunt inside. Irvin beats him to the punch. It's a 3rd and 12. I believe Branch is off screen to our right, basically lined up against CeeDee Lamb. One of the few times on the night that the Lions were able to prevent him from making a play. Hutchinson stunting to the inside. Maybe he's got a little bit longer way to go, but he's definitely got a little bit more traffic or congestion in his path. Irvin gets to the quarterback. To my knowledge, that was Irvin's only quarterback hit. I'd still like to see him get reps. I feel like his explosiveness and his experience could come in handy and generate big plays for this team, particularly in the playoffs. Another example of him dominating the tight ends down here to the bottom side. This is going to be Deuce Vaughn. 1-yard gain. Now, this is a beautiful read by Derek Barnes. When I give you the end zone angle, I'm going to stop for a minute with the Hutchinson hype train here, and I'm going to talk about Derek Barnes being committed to his read. Let you see it from the All-22 one more time. Hutchinson hands on the tight end. Barnes is going to fill this inside gap. Show you why in a moment. It's probably already apparent to you. And then when Hutchinson sheds this tight end, he just throws him aside like he's his younger brother. I mean, there was a level of physicality and violence in the way things turned out for Hutchinson on Saturday that hasn't always been there recently in terms of results. Was it there in terms of technique and him impacting plays? Yes, but the results, getting involved in tackles, getting involved in sacks, hitting the quarterback. All right, Barnes on the same play. So you've got a 3 technique, a 9 technique, so it's an over front. I love his eyes here are right in this gap. He's not worried about the running back or anything like that. He's just reading his gap. As soon as it opens up, gone, committed. Watch his helmet. Looks for the back. So he is not looking at the running back at all. He sees the gap open up because they're combo or blocking down on the 3 technique. Tight end stepping out to the 9 technique. A lot of teams will use this receiver to go try to ISO that front side inside backer. So either way, someone's going to be unblocked. In this case, it's Barnes. As soon as he gets that read, that run read, open window, go. Look for the running back. I don't think Barnes gets credit for the tackle, but he made the play, or at least part of it, if you ask me. Brilliant play to the strong side. Those guys did a great job against the run. Once again, the Cowboys did have 2 big runs, I thought, out of 22 personnel later in the game. So last one, this is going to, I'm sorry, next to the last one, this is going to be Hutchinson touching the quarterback a little bit late, perhaps. Beautiful completion to Brandon Cooks against Branch. But look, watch Branch. He's got to go through 2 levels of screen/rub routes by the receivers because of the inside stem by Cooks. It's basically a jab to the inside and then a wheel fade to the sideline. Perfectly thrown ball by Prescott. Just barely gets it over the top. Branch has to navigate one screen, rub, pick, whatever you want to call it, and then another by the tight end to the outside, squeezes through him in the space between him and the DB covering him, which I think is Melifonwu. And then Branch unable to get the stop. End zone angle, same play. You see Hutchinson hits the quarterback. I don't know if it's late. I don't know what they're calling some of the stuff now, whether you're in your first step or what. To me, he looks 1 step away, but I understand Cowboys fans and others may say, hey, look, that was 2 steps or whatever the rule is now. Perfectly thrown ball. Great job by Cooks. I thought that this was not a catch, but nonetheless it went down as one. This is the last play I'll show you. 4th quarter, 3 minutes left here. Hutchinson against the right tackle. One thing to note is he made his biggest plays late in the 2nd quarter, late in the 3rd quarter. Important situations. I like it when they let him attack. Maybe you're an Aidan Hutchinson fan, maybe you're not. You're a Lions fan. So whether you rooted for Michigan or Michigan State or whoever in college football, who cares? You just want to see this dude produce. And on Saturday, he did. The spin move gains ground, number 1, and I feel like it's perfectly timed up to when the right tackle's shooting his left hand out there to try to gauge distance or control Aidan Hutchinson on some level. So I'm talking about right now, the left hand. I'll show you the end zone angle in a moment. The left hand is here, and Hutchinson is using that to spin off of and then chop or swat down with his own left hand, clear the hips of the right tackle. Brilliant play. One more time from the All-22, and then let you see the end zone angle. It was fun to watch. I mean, it was fun to watch him get home. It was fun to watch him finish. Like I said, now he has 9.5 sacks. His stats for 2 years in the NFL, I mean, oh, by the way, he had a forced fumble. You wish maybe he was able to reach his hand out there. He's celebrating the play. It's a violent finish on Dak Prescott. Kind of reminded me, I'm an MMA fan, so in a weird way, it kind of reminded me of John Jones choking out Lyoto Machida and Machida like going unconscious and limp. Prescott's a tough-ass dude, and he certainly didn't go out. But when I saw his body folded up like that, that's kind of what it reminded me of. So Hutchinson has shot the inside hand out here to draw out or elicit the right tackle's inside arm, his outside arm as well. And as soon as that inside arm is there, spins off of it to reduce the surface area that the tackle can use to hopefully gain control. Hutchinson chop, inside swat, whatever you want to call it, with the tricep and elbow of his left hand, allows him to clear the right tackle and get to the quarterback. Man, you would love to see him, recover that fumble because would have given the Lions more time. But it worked out well for the Lions. They were able to go down and score and then convert to 2-point conversion that at this point, we all know the story with that one. I did a video breakdown on that one. Feel free to check it out if you haven't done so already. Let me know what you think of Aidan Hutchinson's play. If you're as impressed as I was and his teammates were, because when they saw him, the 2 sacks to end the 2nd quarter, they went into halftime, his teammates were incredibly hyped up. And I thought that, along with the late 4th quarter sack, I thought it was an illustration of when they need him, the guy made plays on Saturday that superstar athletes, superstar edge defenders in this case, are supposed to make, especially one drafted as high as he was. 9.5 sacks this year, 3 forced fumbles, an interception. The amount of quarterback hits he's got. Is he an all-pro designation? Well, he's definitely a Pro Bowl guy. There's no doubt about that. Personally, I would say he's an all-pro. but I understand that there'll be people who have different opinions, and there's only so many people so many players at each position who can be voted to those spots. Let me know if you agree with me for how he's played all throughout during the season. This, to me, looked like one of those situations where a guy who's been hitting the ball hard in baseball, and it just hasn't gone out of the park, suddenly shows up to your city for a 3 games over 3 day stretch, and he hits 7 bombs and gets on base 12 times, basically making up for the previous 2 or 3 weeks of time when he's been hitting the ball hard, making contact, just hasn't been able to get it out of the park. Aidan Hutchinson, in this case, knocked 3 of them out of the park on Saturday, and if the game had went into overtime, I feel like the mentality, the momentum that he had, he was liable to get another one. Appreciate you guys' time. If you think other Lions fans would enjoy this content, this film study look at Aidan Hutchinson's play in the Lions' loss to the Cowboys on Saturday, then please consider grabbing a link to this video, sharing it out on social media so other Lions fans can enjoy it too.